Hey guys, Luke with Logical Lacrosse here, and for this video we're going to be doing part 2 of my 3-part series on my NCAA Lacrosse Week 2 review. So let's get started. So first game we'll cover for part 2 is Duke redeeming themselves on the road against the Jacksonville Dolphins. Duke, it was actually close with 6-6 at halftime. I watched a early part of this game before I went up to Denver to watch the Denver Air Force game, but 6-6, then Duke pulls away, 15-8. Duke wins in the shot department, 33-27, kills Jacksonville in the ground ball department, 40-17. Face-offs, they also win 18-7. Jacksonville again struggling on the face-offs like last week. Man up, Duke still bad on the man up, 1 for 4. Jacksonville pretty good, 50%, 2 for 4. Turnovers, pathetic on both sides, just awful. Duke is really not taking care of the ball well. 22 turnovers this game, Jacksonville 19. And they did this all in front of an attendance of 397. So thank you to those 397 that came out to support and help grow the game. Hopefully we can get a little more next game. But players of the game, we'll start with Duke. Joe Robertson, 5 goals, 1 assist. Really good game, 1/3 of the total output for the offense. For Jacksonville, I'm giving it to Eric Applegate. He had 1 goal, but he had 3 assists, so he did a really good job as well. But Duke, nice rebound from High Point, and Jacksonville's going to have to rebound 0-2. They're going to really have to anchor down and group up and start pushing back against some tough opponents they have coming up. So next up, North Carolina, really the only ACC team that showed up this week, but still didn't play too well. They won 14-10, hosted Furman. North Carolina won in the shots department, 46-33. They lost the ground ball battle, 35-34. Saves, 20 saves for Furman, 13 for North Carolina. Turnovers, 18 for North Carolina, only 12 for Furman. Man up, North Carolina 40%, 2 for 5. Furman 3 for 7. So pretty good man ups for both teams. One thing to note, North Carolina was leading going into half, 8-3, but they lose the second half, 7-6. So they're going to have to play better in the second half. That will come to bite them in the butt when they play some teams that have more equal talent compared to their roster. But we'll get into the players of the game now. North Carolina, I'm going to give player of the game to Alex Trippy. He led the team in 3 goals. And Jack Pazula, 13 saves. Really good to get 13 saves. For Furman, I'm giving it to Jerry Birch. 4 goals, and 1 assist. I did not mean to say 14 goals. And other player of the game for Furman, definitely the goalie. A. van de Bovenkamp. He had 20 saves. That's just crazy. He basically saved half the shots that the Tar Heels put at him. That's a really good job. Furman, still kind of struggling. They're going to have to bump up. They played really tough teams that open the year. North Carolina's going to have to also show some improvement for those tougher teams. But both teams, they should be fine moving forward. So this was probably my game of the week if I had to pick. And ACC just laid a dud. Another one. Virginia on the road at Loyola. Loyola dominates. They win 17-9. Virginia's offense, pretty good. They return almost everyone, but the defense just not very good this game. And it doesn't help when Loyola has one of the top offenses. So shots, Virginia wins in the shots, 45-40. Turnovers, 22 for Loyola. I can't believe they blew out a good Virginia team with that many turnovers. But 13 for Virginia. Face-offs, Loyola takes it slightly, 15-13. Ground balls, Loyola wins 34-31. Players of the game, we'll start with Virginia. Matt Moore, 3 goals, 2 assists. And Dox Aitken, 3 goals. I highlighted him for Virginia. Those guys are going to be key moving forward. Virginia should be fine. Defense will have to improve a bit. Offense has got to score more than 9 goals, though, as well. Loyola, Pat Spencer, definitely the player of the game. Sure, everyone saw that coming. The guy had 5 goals, 2 assists. But the guy that probably won't get talked about as much because he's in the shadow of Spencer. Kevin Lindley also had 5 goals, so good job to both those guys. Greyhounds are a threat to make a deep run in the conference, and they wasted no time alerting the college lacrosse world that they are going to be tough to beat this year. So, another upset. Hopkins on the road goes to play Towson, in-state rival. Towson whoops them 17-9 for the Tigers. In the shots department, Towson wins 50-34. Turnovers, Hopkins 19. They looked awful. Towson had 16. Face-offs, Towson destroyed them 21-7. Ground balls, it's almost, I don't know if Hopkins was just lazy this whole game. Their players simply cannot pick up a ground ball. But Towson beats them in the ground balls 43-18. And for those of you history buffs, this is the most goals Towson has ever scored against Hopkins in a matchup. The previous high was 16 in 1994 in the playoffs. So just a little background history for you guys, for your lacrosse buddies. Players of the game, we'll start with Towson. Brendan Sunday, 6 goals, 2 assists, monster game. And Brody McLean, and a hat trick for him. So I mentioned in the offseason that Towson's going to have to improve on offense compared to their 2018 offense. And, well, for the first game, definitely show they've improved. A lot of season left, but what a great impression they left on us. Hopkins really don't deserve a player of the game. But I'll give it to Forey Smith. He had 2 goals, so he was definitely the best player for them. Hopkins is going to have to rebound. They play Loyola next, and Loyola's going to show no mercy. Towson will be an exciting team to watch. Let's see. It'll be cool to see if they can take back the CAA crown. So, another bit of a shocker. Vermont on the road at Navy. Navy wins 13-8. I thought Vermont was going to win. They just looked really good against Utah. I know Utah's a new D1 program, but I was thinking, Vermont looked really good. That goalie looked good, but man, Navy just showed up to play. Service Academy lacrosse is always good, but man, good job to Navy with that win. They beat Vermont in the shots department 48-30. Turnovers, 18 for Vermont, 17 for Navy. Too much for both teams. Face-offs, Vermont won that 14-11. Ground balls, both had 32. And this is impressive. Navy had no penalties the entire game, while Vermont had 3. I mentioned in the preseason that Navy is one of the most disciplined teams in the country, and it showed again. Those guys are very well disciplined, and they never get penalties, and that's a big reason why they can play against teams that some people will pick them to lose. A lot of people probably pick Navy to win this one, but I was a little hyped up about Vermont. So players of the game, we'll start with Navy, and Grayson Terrain has to take it. 5 goals, 1 assist, monster game. And Ryan Kern, 13 saves, very good job for him. Really kept Vermont from getting back in the game. Vermont's player of the game, I'll give it to Liam Limoges. Sorry if I butchered that, Liam. 2 goals, 2 assists. Vermont's going to have to show improvement. Navy is not a team to, feel that bad about losing to, but if Vermont wants to beat Albany to win the AEC, they're going to have to improve a lot, because Albany is going to be extremely tough to beat. They're looking ahead. They're not just hoping to win the conference. They want to win things above that. So Vermont's really going to have to improve. They got a long ways to go before they can compete with Albany. So next, kind of a hidden matchup. Wagner did really well last week. Won in overtime against Bellarmine. I got excited. I picked them to beat Manhattan on the road, and Manhattan comes and shuts me down. Manhattan takes this game 11-10. Shots were in Wagner's favor, 39-36. 14 turnovers for them, 17 for Manhattan. Face-offs, basically even, 12 for Wagner, 13 for the Jaspers. Ground balls, basically even again. This was basically a completely even matchup, but 29 ground balls for Wagner, 31 for Manhattan. Very good game, 1-goal game. Good job to Manhattan for defending their home turf. The players of the game for Manhattan are Giarratana Parker, 4 goals, 2 assists, and Justin Malpica, 2 goals, 1 assist. For Wagner, I got Spencer Kaufman, who got the game-winning goal in overtime against Bellarmine last week. He had 2 goals, 1 assist. Good game again. And Tyler Grady hit 2 goals as well. So, good game for both teams. Wagner's definitely improved, and that was a good win to start the year for Manhattan. So next, Bellarmine continues to elude that first win under Jim Mitchell, the first-year head coach. They go on the road at Marquette. Marquette's a very good program. Marquette wins 15-9. Shots were in their favor, 47-31. Marquette forced 11 turnovers, so good job to their defense and the ride for doing that. That's very impressive to force double-digit turnovers. They took face-off battle 19-9. Ground balls, they dominated 35-16. It was 7-2 at the end of the first quarter, 11-4 at half. Really, not really a competitive game. Players of the game for Marquette, Peter Henkaus, 2 goals, and Tanner Thompson, 2 goals. For Bellarmine, I'm giving it to the same guys as last week. They played well again. They're the best players, I'd say. Morgan Mako, 1 goal, 2 assists, and Landon Trout, who had 2 goals and 1 assist. So, good job to Marquette for a good opening win, and I'm hoping, if you're a Bellarmine fan, that they can kind of come together and get that first win soon. I would expect it sooner rather than later. So, next game. It was actually 6v6 because the defense for either team did not show up. Well, of course, that's a joke, but Rutgers on the road at St. John's, who I think is going to surprise a lot of teams this year. Rutgers takes it 19-15. No defense whatsoever in this game. Both coaching staffs cannot be happy with that, but of course, great offense for both teams, so the offensive coordinators deserve a lot of credit for getting their guys fired up. Shots, 45 for Rutgers, 41 for St. John's. Face-off, St. John's took that 22-16. Ground balls, 35-27 in favor of the Scarlet Knights. Low turnovers for such an offensive game. You'd think with the push and the pace it'd be kind of sloppy with so many high score, but 11 for Rutgers, 13 for St. John's. So pretty good job by those guys for not turning over. Sometimes, you see the high offensive because everyone's turning it over and there's so many fast breaks, but really good for both teams. St. John's was winning in the fourth, 15-11. That would have been another huge upset. And then Rutgers, who's led by Eric Saramet, the OC, who was the head coach of Air Force, they went on a 7-goal streak, and St. John's cannot recover from that. So very good by Rutgers to handle that adversity and come back and take control of the game. Players of the game for Rutgers, Kieran Mullins, who I say is going to have a good year, 6 goals, 3 assists, monster game. And Adam Charlambides, I got your name right this time, Adam. He had 4 goals, 1 assist, so he's really doing good. We're coming back from injury. St. John's, you cannot blame the offense. You got to give this team a lot of credit with the fight they gave Rutgers. And Mike Madsen, 4 goals, 1 assist, takes top spot for player of the game. And Declan Swartwood with 3 goals. So good job by both teams. Defenses have to improve, though, if these guys want to be more serious contenders in their conference. So the final game for part 2, this was a really good game. Another one I feel like no one really is acknowledging, but Army on the road at UMass, who went to the NCAA last year, and Army takes it 12-11 in overtime, and the stats, UMass really dominated, so that's got to be frustrating for the Minutemen. 50-27 in favor of them for shots, 21-4 in favor of them for face-offs, and 40-22 in favor of them for ground balls. But Army, doesn't matter. In the end, your stats could be totally overmatched, but if you win, you're not going to care, but they're going to have to clean some of that up. But players of the game for Army, Brendan Nickturn, 4 goals, 3 assists, and my other player of the game is to AJ Barretto, the goalie, 17 saves, really good. UMass has a good offense, and he had a .607% save rate, so good start for him. For UMass, I'm giving player of the game to Gabriel Prochik, 4 goals, 1 assist, and their face-off man, Tom Myers, 21 face-off wins. I mean, that's really good, guys. But it's a shame that wasn't enough. Maybe Army, those 4 they got, probably the one in overtime, they probably won that one. I don't know for sure, but congrats to Army and UMass. Don't hang your head. Definitely a tough loss, but Army is a good team. UMass will be fine if you're a Minutemen fan. So guys, that'll do it for part 2 of my 3-part series on the NCAA Lacrosse Week 2 review. In the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter, the same name, logical_lacrosse. And you can also go to my website, www.logicallacrosse.com, if you want to find more content like this to help grow the game. And please, if you enjoyed this video, if you want more analysis like this, leave a like and subscribe. It means so much to me. I get so excited to see one little notification on my YouTube, so I get amped. So if you think I don't care, I do actually care. I get amped about the comments. Even if everyone's had really nice comments, but if you want to argue with me and tell me that I'm wrong, feel free. I'd love to just talk with someone about lacrosse and get their insight. But thank you very much, and I will see you guys at part 3.